So good, dude.
We're
So
doing good,
you know
man.
what? I hope they have a good year, man. I honestly think it might be them and the Celtics. Like I don't see anybody else really coming out of the East. Um, like I know the Cleveland's looking good and stuff like that, but honestly, I just don't think they have it.
I agree. I agree. Listen, I'll say that. I'm gonna tell you what, man. Listen, um, I was talking to when me and Gene talked earlier on our other show. I was like, man, like I thought we had Cleveland next round. They're like, nah, you guys are either gonna have the Celtics or Orlando. I was like, I don't know, man. Orlando pushed them the other night.
Yeah, they
Orlando,
look good. They won
Orlando
like
pushed them like they
92,
they
I think it was like 95, 93. I think they're playing right now too, actually.
yeah they
It's
pushed them.
91 up. Yeah.
Is it,
I
are
haven't
you
looked at
looking
the
at
injury.
it? Yeah, I know. I know.
Hey, listen, first off, I get to cheer for my Magic in forever, bro. Like, listen, I'm
Oh
down hard,
yeah,
baby.
that's
We got.
true,
Yeah.
man. They haven't
Hey,
been good
listen.
in
Hey, real
I don't
I
know,
mean,
talk.
we gonna
I
lose the
know.
series, like
Eddie.
but
Hey, real talk. Hey, real talk, Chris. I gotta be honest, bro. You and I have always talked about the Magic. You're a diehard. Like you are a
yeah,
diehard.
bro. Listen, I can't trade up on my team. Listen,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
Tree
down.
Rollins, Nick Anderson,
I feel
3D,
bad
like
for
Scotty
Yeah,
Styles,
you're
baby.
Tree Rollins. Tree Rollins.
I'm not changing up. Nah,
Tree
bro.
Rollins.
Listen, we're terrible. I cheer when we're terrible. I cheer when we had Shaq. I cheer when we had Dwight. Like hey, we're terrible. It is
They
what
were
it
fun
is.
when they had Penny and Shaq. That's
Oh
all.
yeah, you already know, Trav. We miss you,
Oh,
bro.
shit.
I
I was
had to
full
do
of
it.
diapers at that time,
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So
man.
Robbie,
What's up?
what's what's on the agenda for you coming up? What's your
I'm
next
gonna
thing?
be my next thing. I'm gonna be fighting for Total Combat in London, England, June 21st, man. So it's full contact, basically full karate combat rule set. So it's full contact, um, no clinch, no knees, no elbows. Still got like the 3 second or 5 second ground and
Cat
pound.
kicks,
Calf kicks, yes, calf kicks as well,
no
catch and
ties,
sweeps and judo throws and all that. So basically, the old original.
original karate combat rules. Okay,
Yeah,
so total combat.
yeah. So
What
total.
is that?
It's gonna be June 21st in London at the O2 Arena, man.
Okay, so this is something new?
So they did kind of like a pilot show last year. They called it like SFX Championships, I'm pretty
Yep.
sure. And then yeah, I think they rebranded a little bit, changed the name to Total Combat. And that's nice and short and sweet. And then yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I get to fight at my actual weight class again, which is beautiful, man. Because with Karate Combat, I was fighting at 135 and but like soaking wet, I'm about a buck 40, buck 39, man. So fighting at 135 sucks, dude. When everyone's
Yeah.
cutting that much weight, like
That's a
people
big,
are
but you
walking
gotta
around
fight
with
a
like
dude. That Damian Villa was what, like 6 foot? Like my man was
yeah,
big.
he was super long, and like most of those fighters walk around at like 155, 160, like minimum, and I'm like 140, 139 pounds, you know. So fighting back at 125, 126 is gonna feel good, man. I'm gonna be real strong at that weight class too.
Hey,
Yeah, buddy.
so
Absolutely. I'm excited for you to be back at your
Thanks,
natural
brother.
weight.
Yeah, I feel good, man.
hey, so Robbie, I was looking up some of like the info on the league, right? And something I wanted to ask you was, is this gonna be your first time competing in any event since WKC when you retired 2 years ago?
Oh no, yeah, it'll be my first time, man.
It'll
It'll
be
be
your
my
first time.
first time. First time. Yeah, I had a couple of fights lined up with Karate Combat. One of them, like in Vegas, was like a couple months after when I retired from WKC or from Sport Karate. And then I just had some injuries and stuff like that. And then I took just some time away to just rest and just heal up a little bit
Yeah.
and just get my mind right too, man. Like fighting for all these years, man, and especially at a high level is like mentally draining too, right? Like
Mentally, yeah.
yeah, it's like everyone always talks about the physical that it takes away from you, but like at the end of the day, my
Mentally and
body feels
emotionally.
great, man. Like I obviously have some like had some bumps and bruises through the years, but like just trying to stay mentally focused all the time and always motivated and always driven and like being disciplined, like it takes a toll on you after a while, man. Like sometimes you just need to take a step away before you take a step back in, man. So
Yeah.
more motivated than ever. I feel fantastic, man, mentally and physically right now. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to put on a show, man.
Hey, listen, man. I'm glad you actually touched on that part. So Gene has been talking to me a lot this year. Ever since I got engaged in October, and
Yeah.
Gene was telling me, he's like, "Yo, man, like I haven't seen you compete as much as the past couple years." And I told him, I said, "Yo, man, it's like once you have the family aspect, once all
Yeah.
these other things start playing into it, like the competing part, I told Gene, I said not in a boostful way and not in a conceited way, but like I know what I need to do to get to where I gotta be.
Yeah.
But if I don't, but like to a certain point, you gotta take care of the mental. You gotta make sure everything's right on the outside because you don't. I don't know about you guys, but I've always been the one that like if I'm training but everything's not right and where it should be, you're not there. You're just doing work, but you're not in the training. So.
Exactly, man. You're not like focused on like the actual small improvements that you got to make all the time, right? Like you gotta like be in a certain mindset in a certain time frame, and like, man, and like the last couple of years too. My kids are so young. It was nice to spend some time with my wife and my kids and stuff, and not always in the gym. Like I'm always in pretty good shape. Don't get me wrong. I'm always kind of training and always in the gym. I'm never really out of shape, but it's nice to not have to like stress, be like, okay, I gotta be in the gym today. I gotta be in the gym twice today, and like not having that stress all the time. I mean, it's nice. And like, and I got to spend more time with my family too, man.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Zeke, you got a question?
Yeah, I had some technical difficulties, but I'm back. So I'm not sure if this was broached or not in my brief absence, but I think the last time I saw you, Robbie, was I think it was 2008 or 2009. It was the first year for the WKC over in Ireland.
Yeah.
You were competing over there. So I think that's the last time that I physically saw you. And prior to that, I had always watched you and followed your career, and even after that. I'm a smaller stature frame person as well. And
I like how you put that. No,
it was. I don't know if I missed that while I was out, but like I wanted to model the way that you came off the line with the speed, the aggression, and the commitment is the word I'm looking for, because that's a really big thing. Is that when you're talking about blitzing, is the commitment. When you make your mind up, you gotta go. Similar to driving, I can't. If I'm shooting across the street, to get that traffic, I got to commit whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do. How did you develop your blitz to be so fast and so effective and different from everybody else with your size and stature?
A lot of times too, like, I did a lot of like plyometrics when I was younger, a lot of sprinting and just a lot of strength training too. I know a lot of sport karate people don't do strength and conditioning. They put it on a back burner. I always did, because especially like when I was younger, like moved up to the men's division, especially locally when I was like 15, 16, and I was like maybe 105, 110 pounds soaking wet. And like I was doing well, but I was getting banged up all the time, man. I was getting bullied a lot. So my instructors, my training partners, they were all older than me at the time. They were like, you got to start lifting weights. So that's when I was like 17 years old. I started putting on some muscle, started putting on some strength, and I wasn't getting bullied as much. And especially I felt like when I was fighting in super lightweight, like throughout my whole career, I felt very strong for that weight class. I always felt very strong, and I never felt like another super lightweight could ever like bully me, ever. Even if somebody was close to my weight, it was like I didn't feel like I was being able to be pushed around, So I always put a really big thing on lifting weights, strength and conditioning, being physically fit and physically strong. So that always helped with the speed and the power and the explosiveness. Like they carry over. A lot of people neglect that part of their training as well. So that was a big thing for me. And then, man, and then the commitment thing, I feel like a lot of times, like when people hesitate and they don't commit, you actually get hit harder because you stop in between. You get harder. You get eaten with that side kick. And a lot of times when you're halfway through a technique, you're not fully breathing. Your breath's not fully extended out or breathed out. You're going to get winded, right? So it's just like, and plus I hated to lose, man. If I was going to take that shot, I was going to take that shot. It's just like, am I going to score this point? If I score this point, I have more opportunity to win this match. And at the end of the day, if I take those chances and take those risks, and if I make those calculated risks, I'm going to score more points at the end of the day. I'd rather win and take those risks than lose and not having to take those risks, So it just came down to like how much I wanted to win. And trust me, I love to win. I hated losing.
I don't think nobody enjoy losing.
But you know what though,
Yeah,
man?
but there are people who accept it, and there are people who don't.
Like
You hear it all the
people are
time.
like
So
okay with like getting second and getting third and like fourth, like it wasn't who I am, and it still not is who I am. Like I'll never be okay with the second place. I'll never be okay with the third place. And honestly, a lot of times I wasn't even okay without winning a grand championship at a tournament. And like
I knew you were getting to it.
yeah, and it's just like, and a lot of times too, like back when I was younger and up until like probably, I don't know, 2012, 2013, there was no lightweight overall. It was just overall, man. So, like there was one overall. So at the end of the day, I had to fight heavyweights for some of the overalls I won, so it's just like, it just came down to that. I just didn't want to win my division. I wanted to be the best at a tournament. And I liked winning. I wanted to like, and a lot of people are like, oh, you're small, you're this, you're that. And I was just like, so what? Why does it matter? Like you're making a big deal out of it for absolutely no reason. Like I'm going to fight, I'm going to compete, and I'm going to try my best to win.
Hey, you know what, Rob? You saying that, man, that's a good point. Because I remember being a junior, watching you come up, man. And I'll never forget. I want to say it was Chris. You can correct me. I think it was 2014 Battle of Atlanta that you fought Ray for the Extreme Warrior Challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just that Extreme Warrior Challenge was the old school. We're not just calling the first point. It's like that super fight, and we're looking
multiple
at a Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're watching a Robbie fight a Raymond, and it just everything you talked about of you guys on the same team. But man, if anyone can go back and watch that fight, man, Robbie, you would have thought Robbie didn't even know who Raymond was. He was.
Oh man, I wanted to win that, man.
You were. You
know what's crazy, man? I had to fight my ass off on the Friday night before that. I had to win the whole lightweight division, which was like Justin, James, Hamed was in there. There was a bunch of people in that weight division, man, and it was stacked. And then Ray was the defending champion. So he got a bye. So there was a lightweight winner, a middleweight winner, and a heavyweight winner. The heavyweight winner was Trevor, but he got injured the night before. So I had to go through the whole lightweight division. Then I had to fight Obeda on stage the next day, the middleweight winner. Then I had to fight Raymond. So I busted my butt to get all the way there.
Hey, listen, man, just those names right there. Those are all dudes that are real fighters, man. Like everyone you just named, man, those are real fighters, dude. Those are guys that.
And guys don't bring up Trevor no more. Guys don't bring up Trevor in the conversation no more. I don't understand that.
Yeah, Brian Ruth and Trevor so special, man. Before, man. Yeah, dude. Trevor was incredible, man. So
special. I don't hear him brought up enough in conversation. He does not.
But you know what, man? That's because of, and I say this honestly, man. That's because of a lack of knowledge. It's just and I don't think it's a dig at him, right? Because I'll say this right now. Chris can attest to this. I will message Chris like personally and be like, "Yo, like I love watching you do kickboxing, bro. Like let's get back to it, right?" Like people don't know. There was times that Chris was in 3 grands in one night show. Like he's in probably the CMX grand, he's in the traditional forms grand. And then you look around, you say, "Yo, this dude's fighting for the overall." It's crazy, but it's a lack of knowledge. If some of the people saw Chris now, they just know him as, "Yo, that's that really good judge." But it's like, yo, you don't know who he is. Like you don't know that. So I think sometimes that's the point, man. It's just a lack of knowledge because, like you said, man, no one brings up Trevor, but Trevor is. Trevor is a different.
Trevor's one of the all-time best for me. I love watching Trevor, and Trevor's a lefty, so like for me, like that's a conversation piece. But yeah, you're right. Trevor doesn't get brought up, but we're in a sport where it's a now thing. Who's on top now? Like look at MMA. Look how we talk about MMA when we'll discuss. I think it was Angel and I had a discussion one time about legacies. Talk about the legacy of the current champions like Amanda Nunes, who's an amazing women's champion and an amazing competitor, but she's a newer person compared to a Chuck Liddell, who's got who built that city.
GSP.
Right, GSP. Compared to, you're looking at Kamaru. They're talking about Kamaru could be the great at 170. Do y'all not remember who George Rush St. Pierre is? Like, are y'all kidding me? Matt Hughes? Like, we're at a now mentality, and we don't really promote and love the people in the past. I've said this for a long time as a a younger, old school dude, I guess. I remember watching Ibby Abdallah, Mafia Holloway, Ronald and Donald Brady, and I talk to kids now, not kids, but the younger generation of fighters now, and some of them have heard of these guys, but they don't have videotapes. They don't do study films. They don't like know those people. So when we talk about a fast-paced sport like this, and in all combat sports, we don't remember now.
Yeah,
People, the legends remember Marcelo Garcia, but it's Rafa Mendes now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So like we talk about this in cycles all the time. So I think that's unfortunately what happens. But we need people like us who can sit here and go, hey, remember, do you remember? And it creates these discussions to bring back out these legends and to let people remember who they are.
Hey man, that's a good point. Hey, that's a good point because you talking about just Ibby Abdallah Mafia. If you were to show them a picture, they wouldn't be able to pick them out. They couldn't tell you what was their favorite technique that they hit everyone with. Like it's just different things, man. But go ahead.
That's the same, but that's the same in a lot of different activity. I mean, you can say the same thing with music. You can say the same thing with basketball too. A lot of the newer generation, they just don't respect the past. You know, it is what it is. Robbie, my next question for you.
I think they just don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people know.
They're involved in what they're doing now. You know,
think about the Jordan versus LeBron debate. You know, some of the younger people just don't know. And I don't think they care to know, how good Mike was. You know, they just think he's the guy that sells shoes, So.
He's chilling on a yacht, smoking a cigar, just chilling, selling shoes.
My next question for you, Robbie. What would you be doing if you weren't in martial arts? If you weren't a martial artist? What matter of fact, before you answer that, how old were you when you started?
5.
5, yeah. So you will have a whole new life. What do you think you will be doing?
I don't know if I can say this on the air. I honestly have no idea, dude. I don't remember a time in my life where I haven't done martial arts. So honestly, I couldn't tell you that. I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, no idea. At one point when I was younger, maybe like an early teenager, I wanted to be a police officer. I was actually kind of thinking about that. But yeah, like that lasted, I don't know, maybe like 6 months, and like I was maybe like 13. But no, I always kind of knew what I wanted to do, and my parents were really supportive of what I wanted to do, and they just let me do my thing, man, and just kept pushing me to go towards my goals and my dreams, man. And I'm happy I did, dude. I don't want to picture doing anything else, and I just don't know if I would be doing anything else, to be honest, bro.
All right. Cool. Go ahead, Angel.
Okay. So I wanted to know, with your upcoming fight, man, just tell us a little bit about how do you feel fighting a Muay Thai fighter? Do you have any information on this person?
I've seen a couple of videos of him, man. He's got a good right leg. He's long. He's not super tall, but he's long and thin. Nothing I haven't seen before, but I have been training Muay Thai for the last 3 years, and it's all I've been really training. I haven't really done any sport karate in the last 3 years, and I've been training exclusively at a Muay Thai gym. So I'm pretty comfortable with the Muay Thai stuff. And remember, it's not a Muay Thai rule set.
Yes,
so he can't chop my legs. He can't clinch me. He can't elbow me. He can't knee me. So some of his most important weapons that he's used to using, he can't use.
Gotcha.
But he's got good hands, he's got good power in his back leg, and he's long, right? He's gonna try to scrap. He's probably gonna throw a couple leg kicks at me. That's okay. I'm used to it. I'm gonna kick him right back in his legs too, man. It's just like he's good, he's talented. I'm looking forward to it, man. But like I said, his style is nothing I haven't seen before.
Hey, and were you saying that you've been in a Muay Thai school for the past 3 years? Have you found a way to successfully blend the mindset or just the techniques that you got from sport karate and then bring it over into the sport?
Absolutely. I'm so much more comfortable these days, man. Especially like I said, I haven't fought in a couple of years, but it doesn't mean I haven't been training. I haven't been getting better in the last couple of years, right? So yeah, I have found a really good blend of it, man, and it's just like a lot more comfortable in certain situations now too, especially with my hand combinations and my hands and my boxing. It's like I'm excited to show everybody my boxing skills and the new skills that I picked up in the last couple of years, man. From my last karate combat fight to now, I'm a totally different fighter, man. So if he's watching those old videos, man, he's gonna be in for a shock.
I love it, man. I love it.
All right. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I mean, I know most of these questions, but uh, with this, so moving into this, knowing that you will probably have a better understanding of the distance game compared to your guy coming up who's going to be a Thai guy. What are some of the things that you're going to look to take advantage of in this? Because again, we're going back to a karate combat style. So again, there's none of the double legs. There's not a lot of the clinching. So there's only going to be a quick spurt. How are you going to try to use your advantage? What are you going to use?
I'm gonna use my movement and my fakes, man. Movement and fakes is what my bread and butter throughout my career, man. It's just like my movement, my distance, working on closing the gap with my speed. And it's no secret, man. You know how it goes, and I've always done it. I got a lot of tricks up my sleeve, and my footwork is like I've always prided myself on my footwork, and I'm just gonna what's up, Veda, and then yeah, I always prided myself on my footwork, man, and it's one of my best attributes, and I'm gonna put that to use.
Absolutely. I've always, coming from where we do, moving and transitioning over there, I've always felt like that's the fact that they can never catch up. We in MMA, we don't catch up to the wrestling. It's just when you've been doing it for so long, it's just so hard to adapt and adjust and overcome something that you have such a difficulty at. And we have that. So I always love to watch you move in sport karate. And then it's always easier to do it when you have a full contact target. In their ring, do they have like a pit style thing? Are they doing a circle? Are they doing a kickboxing ring? What kind of setup is this? Because that is gonna determine the movement.
Yeah, so it's like similar to a pit, but it's an oval shaped, and I just don't think the walls are as high. But you can still fight off of the walls the exact same way you can in a pit, but it's just an oval shape rather than a square, and the walls aren't as high.
So it's kind of like an old WCL type of ring?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
Dope, man. That's dope. I like that. I like that open.
Yeah, me too. It'll be cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Zeke, you got another question?
Yeah. When is this fight taking place? I missed that for Karate Combat, right? When is it supposed to take place?
It's called Total Combat, man. Me and Karate Combat parted ways about a month ago. We're on great terms, man. I love the promotion. I love fighting for them. It was fantastic. Great time in my career, and I'm happy I've done it. Just wanted something new. Wanted to fight in my own weight class. So this is called Total Combat, man. I'm excited for their startup show. It'll be June 21st in England, man.
Okay. And this is, you've kind of already answered this, but using the strengths that you have, I think what makes fighters who transition into full contact of sports, MMA, kickboxing, things like that, so such an enigma, so challenging to be able to deal with, is kind of like what Chris articulated, just having that foundation, and being able to have that movement where other people, when they see it, they are almost dumbfounded by it. And as sport karate people, we laugh. Like when people look at an MVP or a Thompson, they're like, what do we do with the sidekick? And we're like, what are you talking about when you do the sidekick? Like we fight that, we've been fighting that sidekick since we were kids. Not saying it's not effective, but they can't wrap their head around it, and they'll bring and fly people in. You know what I mean? To come and throw sidekicks. So to us, it's funny because it's second nature. My question to you is, how are you? Because I feel like in that realm, you're already going to be ahead with all of the sport karate experience that you had, and then you've been 3 years in the gym for the Thai boxing. How do you plan to be able to blend that together so that you can use that to be effective? Or maybe you don't want to highlight that and give that secret away. You know what I mean?
Man, I've been practicing, constant practice, constantly evolving, man, and just my style is going to be something that a lot of people haven't seen before, especially when I blended it all together with like my sport karate style, because a lot of people, everybody's sport karate style is different. Mm-hmm. So my sport karate style is going to be different than Chris's. It's going to be different than Angel's, right? So how I blend my Muay Thai skills, my boxing set, my kickboxing set with my sport karate style, it's going to be different than Angel's. It's going to be different than Chris is. It's gonna be different from the next person. So you're just gonna have to tune in and watch June 21st, man.
Ooh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Whoa,
You already know.
I'm excited. Don't get too much away. I'm excited.
So Robbie, a little bit with this, a little bit more into the Total Combat.
Yeah.
So we know the people who run it, right?
Yes.
Who's in charge?
So I know there's Andy Cleaves, there's Lee Matthews, and Damon Sampson.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, so those three are the heads of it, the three of the promoters. I think there's another person or two, I'm not sure, but those are the three that I know for sure, and the three that I've been talking to.
Right. And so these are also former sport karate guys. We've known them. They've been, all around the world. We've traveled around the world with these guys. So they're stepping into that new direction now and moving out of their fighting careers and moving on school owners and, military. And these guys are really, really good people. Andy and Lee specifically, we've known them for years. So they're taking their shot at this promotion. Is this like a one-off fight, or what is the concept that they're trying to work on here?
So they're kind of like it's a tournament this year. So they're doing their first show. So they chose 4 fighters from all the weight classes. So half the semifinals are all in June for the 4 women's weight classes and then all the men's weight classes. Then the second semifinal is in July at some point, and then the finals will be in mid-September to determine the champions of the weight classes and stuff.
Beautiful. Gives you enough time to rest, gives you enough time to recover, gives you enough time to get
yeah.
Yep, I got
exactly,
you.
man.
But not too long to get injured in camp and all that.
Exactly. Not too much time. That way you can
recovery time, a couple weeks off after the fight, then right back to it for September, man.
I like it.
Yeah.
I got one more question for you, man. What are your top 3 martial arts movies?
Ooh, I like Bloodsport, Kickboxer, maybe King of the Kickboxers is underrated.
Yo,
it sure is.
It
sure is.
I've never seen that movie.
Underrated.
What?
I've never seen it. That's exactly why. That's exactly why I started Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, because I did not grow up watching martial arts movies. So these last 5 years,
it's
I've
hard to do
so
top
many.
3.
I gotta write it down. What'd you say?
King of Kickboxing is great.
Write it down.
King of Kickboxing is a good one, man. I haven't seen that. It's hard to find, man. I've been looking for it everywhere.
Okay.
I saw it I don't know, this a while ago. But I watched Kickboxer, the new school one, which is not fantastic. I was just
see Billy Blank's awesome acting in that movie.
Hey, listen, man, it's crazy you say that though, Rob, because I swear to God, Jeff has brought up that movie for the past 3 years. I'm not even.
Oh, has he? I had no idea.
And Gene will just be like, I don't know. So now
it's underrated. I like it.
I'm about to come on its Fists, Kicks, and Flicks and put you up.
That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna bring some old Don Wilson B movies.
No Retreat, No Surrender. What's up with No Retreat, No Surrender? Why we ain't bringing that up?
That's a good one.
I think we already did.
That's Ron Parnell and Van Damme. We know Ron. We know Ron. Yeah.
Okay.
Is Ron in that?
Yeah,
Ron's in that.
Oh, man, that's funny.
We got to interview him. That was actually the cool part, man.
That was pretty fun.
Hey, so I got a question. Just going backwards now, right, to sport karate, right? And I don't know if you've answered this question out loud before, but since you're, retired from sport karate, we can ask these questions and kind of, dive into it. If you had to pick your top 3 hardest fighters or the top 3 fights that you would say, when you think about your sport karate career, those 3 are just come right to your mind, who would it be?
Top 3 toughest?
Yeah, that you fought.
Probably Raymond, Johnny, and Jack, man.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, it's just pretty hard. Zolt would be up there too. Okay. Zolt would be up there too. But definitely Raymond, Johnny, and Jack, man. Fought those guys a lot, dude. Especially Jack. I fought him a lot. Especially as back, especially when we were younger. It was the lightweight grand would fight the middleweight grand. Mm-hmm. And lightweight grand back then was 159 and under. Yeah. Right? And then 160, 79.
Because remember, Robbie, we had super light and light, and then you had to do the lightweight grands, and then you had to fight the 30-year-old too.
Yeah. So back if you really think about it, man, a lightweight Graham back, especially up until like, I don't know, 2008, 2009, super lightweight was 149 and under.
Yeah.
And then lightweight was 150 to 159.
159 and under.
You know, so it's just like those would be basically like lightweight overalls right now.
No, you're right. You're right.
You know, so
listen.
it's like it's tough, man. But yeah, I fought Jack a whole lot. I fought Jody a whole lot. I fought Ray a whole lot too, man. So yeah, those three for sure, dude.
Hey, you know what, man? And you saying that is actually like it brings back again me growing up watching all your videos, watching tons of stuff on you, and I was like, dude, like I think. At one point, I was like, "Man, I feel like I'm watching the same video or these dudes so frequently that it would like, you know, I would be more happy when I saw you fighting like a Robbie Hughes or I saw you fight someone different."
You know what? Robbie Hughes was always a tough fight too.
Hey, listen, I always liked watching you fight Robbie Hughes because in Waco he fights small, so when he fought you, he couldn't fight the small man fight because you would tear him apart. That would play into your game.
Yeah, we've had some wars through the year. The first time me and Robbie Hughes fought was in 1997 for the gold medal at the WKA World Championships in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, man. But so cool, man. I had to ask that question because you know, we always hear, you know, especially me when I was coming up, everybody used to always say like, oh, you know, you don't want Robbie, that's the giant killer. And I used to say, hey, man, listen, you know, you hear it enough, you start playing into it. And then being there ringside, I used to be like, yo, I don't know how he does it. He makes it work, man. He makes it work.
No, honestly, man, it's just like everyone's like all through the years is like, how do you get used to fighting taller people? But at the end of the day, man, especially growing up, everybody was freaking taller than me, man. So it's not like it was that big of a difference. Like I fought a lot of people the same way. And a lot of shorter fighters like want to close the distance, right? They force and try to close the distance. Why? It makes it so much more work for you to close the distance. Why don't you let the big guy throw a kick or two at you? There's your space close right there, man. Your distance is fine. Really? You know, but a lot of people like shorter fighters try to force that, you know, and I never really tried to force that. I might throw a couple fakes and then get into the distance, and then I would stay in the distance. But a lot of people are scared to stay in that distance. They're uncomfortable in that strike zone. I lived in the strike zone, man. I could stay there all day. I'm not scared to stay in the strike zone, you know. And a lot of smaller guys don't want to get hit. They don't want to get hit, you know. Like, dude, I fought Cam Dawson 3 times in one weekend. You know, I Kumite Classics 1 year. That guy, he hits like a truck, man. You know, and it's like, yeah, but I wasn't scared to get hit. But a lot of smaller guys are scared to get hit. Some people are terrified to get hit. You know, they don't want to get banged up. I didn't care.
Dude, listen, if anyone's listening right now, you guys gotta go back to this clip right here and hear that because he dropped so many gems. Like that right there, man.
Sure did.
It comes down to a mentality. Robbie would rather fight to win than fight not to lose.
Yeah, a lot of people.
It's kind of like at least I know from our team, that's kind of who we are. Like if it's 4-4 and I gotta take off, I'm gonna take off. It is what it is. You might get the side kick and I'm gonna get the body punch, but if I stand there, I'm getting hit. Yeah, I'm in control of my destiny at that point. And you know, being around, you know, and I tell people this all the time, but actually, I don't know if I've ever told Robbie this. Robbie holds in my probably top 3 favorite fighters of all time.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
Because of all these things, because it's not just, you know, an ability thing. It's not. It's a extras. It's all the extras. It's the mentality. It's the like you talked about earlier, doing the strength and conditioning, doing all of the extra things before it's a necessary thing. Like like me, when I hit my 30s and started moving up and creeping up into this 40s and now being in my 40s, I have to work harder. I have to be smarter. I have to do these things. Yeah. He's been doing this and he pushed me to do this back when we were teammates or before we were teammates. At one tournament, he came in and he beat me twice in a row. And I talked to him after the tournament and, you know, just kind of, you know, just feeling him out, seeing what he was like. And from then his mentality sparked something new in me to do that. So Robbie, I don't ever get to really talk about you like that, but I want to thank you for all the things that we've gone through and all the things that we've done in our lives. And I'm really looking forward to this. And I love you, bro.
Love you too, brother.
Zeke, you got one more question?
No, man, I'm taking it all in, man. Just like Angel said, he dropped some amazing Jews, man. Me being a shorter stature fighter as well, I can definitely relate. And some of the things that he said even has my brain working in reverse a little bit in considering the way that I fight, because I'm a blitzer. That's what I do. I ain't kicking at you. I'm closing that distance, and I like some of the things that he said because it definitely re-sparked some things in me as well, and I'm gonna have me considering some things from a different vantage point as well. So I appreciate all the knowledge and all the wisdom that you shared.
Cool. Zeke, you ready to go to the get the professor's perspective?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
So this right here is Timmy Kwamba. He's a guy that actually trains with us at the gym under Dewey Cooper. I train beside Dewey Cooper alongside him. And Timmy's been with us pretty much his entire amateur career. And now his professional career, he's got picked up by the UFC recently. And he's doing some amazing things. Yesterday he fought and finished his fight with a flying knee, as you can see here. And a couple weeks ago, I shared a video with Kevin Lee, who was a video got leaked with him sparring, and he tried to do a flying knee. He got clipped and got dropped, got a flash knockout. And we kind of had a segment talking about how I think it's bull crap that people are posting sparring pics, and we talked about his choice to throw the flying knee during sparring. And all of that good stuff. So this was kind of apropos that this happened yesterday for us to be able to reference. One of the things that I want to talk about is the fact that a lot of people are having some controversial discussion about whether or not this was an early stoppage. I want to kind of talk to you guys about this, and then I want to share my perspective about it as well. So again, Timmy's my guy. Known Timmy so many years, and again, he trains at the gym with him. We see him 3, 4, 5 times out of the week. He's one of the harder workers that we have, one of the hardest workers that we have. But I don't have a bias when it comes to, calling it how it is and, calling it straight down the middle. But I'm hearing a lot of people talk about this controversial early stoppage. I'll start with Angel and say, what do you think about the situation? Do you think this was an early stoppage, or do you think it was appropriate?
So I actually, when we talked before you got on in the pre-show, I actually told Gene. He said he wants me to show the video, but I don't really know what he's going to say about it. And I said it to Gene. I said, he's probably going to say, people probably thought it was a controversial, early stoppage. And he's like, you think so? I said, yeah. I was like, but this is the thing, though. From the way the camera angle was, all we see is him get up and run at him. But he did go limp. He went out. He did go out. That's without a doubt. He did get finished with punches. I see this as one of those situations like what happened with Diego Lopez and Brian Ortega, that the initial knee did drop him, disorient him, and then I think the punches kind of woke him back up. And then that's where he is now reacting. But I wish we can also hear audio, which I know we can't. But I'm sure if there was a mic, one of the cameras probably caught it. I'm sure he probably asked what happened. I'm sure he probably did. So for me, I don't think it was controversial. I don't think it was early. I think it was one of those situations where he got dropped with a good shot, and then it was the exchanges after that woke him back up that then got him to be coherent.
Robbie, what do you think?
I think it's a pretty good stoppage. Just looking at it, because it was the end. Why is that guy going to take more punishment than he needs to take? I know he's going to refuse it, but the referee is in there to stop the fighters from getting hurt and to save their health at the end of the day. I think another punch or two on the ground, he would have been out, and you don't know what would have happened afterwards. The referee has to make a split-second decision. I think it's a good stoppage because he was out. And just like Angel said, he went limp from the knee. He dropped, and his forehead was on the mat. He was taking those unnecessary shots, He popped up like he was okay, but it's hard to see afterwards because he does stumble past the referee at the end too once he stands up, so it's hard to tell, man.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, man, right there where he goes to put his hand down and right before he gets punched and his hand collapses out from underneath him and the side of his forehead hits the mat. I think that's the part where the referee goes, that's the stop point, because we are here to protect fighters. I've actually got to referee a few MMA fights here in Georgia recently, and that's one of the things that the commissions absolutely tell you. You have to look for signs. You have to look for, are they trying to get up? If they do try to get up, how well does that go? He might have seen something in his eyes. His eyes didn't look too good as he's sitting back down. So on the other side of that, in the perspective from like a referee standpoint, there were a lot of factors to where that's a good stoppage. But we see, we've seen things. We've seen the Czech Congo Pat Barry fight where he's come back and they've allowed certain things like that. But I'd rather go a little bit, stop it a little bit early than have somebody laid out flat and have to come out on the stretcher. So you know what I mean. Referees go on the air side of caution. I'm going to go with that's a pretty good stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
I'm going to defer to you guys then, because to me it does look like an early stoppage, only because we've seen fights where we think someone is knocked out and they'll get up quickly, knock their opponent out, and they'll end up winning that fight. But I mean, I'm gonna go with Chris.
Now with that, Gene, I'm gonna go ahead and remind you, even those flashes cause a little bit of this. Every flash, every time you get put out and come back to, that's where we have to, that's what we worry about with the CTE and the concussion protocols. And I think that's where these things are starting to happen now. Yeah, we can as humans bounce back from that, because if your conditioning is good, a flash knockout isn't that bad. You can get up and keep going. But is it really that good? What happens when that flash knockout happens again and it's not a flash the next time? How bad does your brain shut off, and where does that work? And it's weird to hear me saying this, because I'm one of those, just, hey, let it be, and let's fight it out until somebody let the fighters decide it. But stepping out from being a fighter now and looking at the safety aspect of it, you really do have to look at that, because we have a lot of guys who have been through those things, and if you have conversations with them now, you realize they've been through these things.
Hey, listen, man, you saying that though, that's a good point about you saying, like, if you're in good condition, I've heard stories, and I'm sure Chris, Robbie, Zeke, I'm sure you guys can say it, man. I've heard people with boxers, they get dropped in the second round. They don't remember the fight. They're in good condition. Yeah, I mean, that happened to me.
They can go back and win.
Yeah, listen, that happened to me personally when I fought German for Pro Point. Robbie, you remember we all fought that card.
Absolutely,
I fought German. I think, I'm not even lying to you, I think like the first 5-10 seconds, I think German hit me with like a straight right, and like it stumbled me. And I still don't remember the rest. I don't remember the rest of the fight. I remember I hit him a few times, but I couldn't tell you where, when, how I hit him. I know I hit him. So like, it's man, seriously. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you're in good condition, you will be able, your brain and your body knows to push through that pressure, to push through the adversity, because that's what your training camp was for. But from the safety aspect of it, and kind of what Chris said, once he face plants it, that's something we all know. I think that Czech Congo, that was like one of those rare occurrences that I am so sure that Dan Murray must have got talked to by the commission after, because that was like literally like,
there's no doubt.
Like, it almost in a way, it was a blessing that Czech Congo knocked out Pat Barry, because if he did it, the press and what would have happened after would have been way worse. So,
100%.
But go ahead, Zeke.
So no. This is all good, because this all actually plays into my points that I want to bring up. So I want to bring up a few points to those who are listening, and for those who are kind of on the fence one way or another about whether or not they believe this was an early stoppage or not. So one of the things I want to bring up, and you guys can all attest, so I'm glad that we got such an eclectic group of people in here today. Number one, it depends on where you are in the card. Now, this may seem silly to people, and they may not believe that to be true, but even from a professional standpoint, even on a UFC card, the top MMA promotion in the world, the cards are still set up based on experience level. Right. And so the earlier you are on the card, meaning if you're one of the first few fights versus if you're towards the main event, this makes a difference. And Chris can attest to this, having done refereeing as well, is that you're going to look, even if they're professionals, in a lot closer, and you're not going to be as flexible or lenient when it comes to certain things when you're earlier in the card versus later. So first 3 to 5 fights, if somebody's in a compromising position, even if they're professional, the referee, you're going to start seeing them walk in and getting close in. They're going to start verbally doing a little bit more warning. They're going to be looking, a lot more, because they're going to be more protective of them, because they're probably lower level professionals, even at the UFC level, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. As you get close to the main event, anywhere by the co-main event, the main event, they'll almost let you kill each other before they jump in and stop it. To Angel's point about the Czech Congo fight, because these were later down the line, co-main event, main event title fights, they're instructed to let these guys go, and just make sure nobody dies, in the process.
Yeah,
for the most
absolutely.
part.
Because
it does depend on where you are in the card. So as Timmy, he's only had a couple fights in the UFC. He's earlier in the card, the preliminaries, this guy, he catches him. The guy Romero that he's fighting, to the referee, it looks like he's in a compromising position, or it was a flash knockout, or whatever he would have thought. He's going to step in because of the fact that he's earlier in the card. That's number one.
Zeke, you airing out secrets.
Yeah.
Hey, the later fights, the main card fights, they got to bring in the views. No matter where it is, you got to keep the fans entertained. If it's a live show, you got to keep the fans there, because if your favorite fighter loses or it's a bad fight, the fans are leaving. Now the venue doesn't get their drink money, and there's a lot of into this. Same thing with pay-per-view sales and ticket sales and revenues. So you do got to let a little bit more of that go, and they will tell you to, like, hey, these fights, they're okay. So pride is gone. So you can hear all the rumors where they're just, hey, I will pay you if you just stand up with him instead of trying to take him down. I know you're a better wrestler, but I'll give you a bonus if you stand up. The famous one was Seth Petrozelli and Kimbo Slice. Kimbo and Seth Petrozelli. When Kimbo got knocked out by the first time.
Yeah, that was in Elite XC.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That was my coach. Seth was one of my coaches. So I have the whole background in that whole story. They got paid in the back to stay standing, because it was the same thing with Ken Shamrock, was going to get paid to stay standing instead of, take him down and ankle lock him and all that jazz. But so they do. They will let a lot more go later on than they do in the beginning of all cards.
The next point is, at times, the follow-up strikes or the fall itself will wake up or reanimate a fighter, which I heard a couple of you guys say. People don't understand this. So you may hit the person may be actually knocked out, and you can tell based on the way they fall. But when they hit the mat, or the follow-up strikes, the hammer fishes that come behind it, the elbows that come behind it, can reanimate a fighter and wake that fighter back up. So again, when we're looking and we're deciding whether or not something's controversial or not, as far as stoppage goes, this person, as Chris pointed out, could have been knocked out and woke back up from the strikes. So when the referee sees this, he's stopping it from the knockout perspective. And then now that the person's reanimated, it just looks bad, right? Like, how many times have we as sport karate fighters, we've actually hit somebody with the back fist, or reverse punch, or a kick or something, and then one of the judges stops it because they see our point, but the other person hits afterwards, hits late. And now the other refs, the other judges, are calling the last thing that they saw, not realizing that the first thing that it was stopped for was the strike, the back fist, the kick that I threw. So the referee's looking at it perhaps from a perspective of seeing, this is when he was knocked out, when he fell down, the person followed up. This is when he reanimated. This could make it look bad. 2 more points. It's important for people to understand it's not the fighter's job to be able to decide whether or not this is an early stoppage or not. His job or her job is to go there and be able to try to finish the opponent, not referee to, and not make these decisions. And oftentimes, unfortunately, then this starts to get put on the fighter. People look at the fighter, and the controversy starts to go on the fighter versus the referee. Well, you didn't really beat this person because that was controversial. It's like, my job's to fight. My job's to fight. My job's to finish the guy. When the referee pulls me off of the person, then that's all that matters. So we want to make sure we keep that in mind. And lastly, and most importantly, people have to understand, fighters are great actors, guys, right? And when you talk about the UFC, when you talk about a company or a league where if you drop 3 L's, then you're done, and you got to work your way back from the beginning, controversy works well for me. So I could have been flat out knocked out. This guy could have been flat out knocked out, but he's got to be a good actor. He's going to pop up. He's going to run around the ring or the cage. He's going to put his arms out. I don't know what's going on. This was a bad stoppage. I got to be a good actor because maybe my back's against the wall, and if I pick up this L, then they may be releasing me. So this controversy works really well for me being able to keep my career and have another fight or two inside of a league. So my perspective overall, in conjunction with what many of you guys said, is that this was not an early stoppage like the controversy that we're hearing about. I think that we saw enough in the fight, and in the footage to see his body language, to see there's a couple of things, and it's the culmination of things that the referee, I think, saw as well. He got hit with the clean head kick to set the things up. Then there was an elbow that bust him right open like a ketchup package just bust open on his head. And then he turns around and then he gets hit with a knee right behind it. These things were right in sequence, back-to-back things. And then the way that he fell, the way his arm was pinned up underneath him, him trying to fight, like Chris said, to struggle back up. In my perspective and the professor's perspective, I don't believe it was an early stoppage. I think it was a good win put on by an amazing up-and-coming fighter.
Yes, sir.
All right. You guys got anything else need to discuss? Talk
man,
Robbie about?
Listen, man. Just all I gotta say is just from the sport karate community, from just the combat sports community, man. Make sure you guys support Robbie. Find a way to get the pay-per-view sales. If you could get any way to stream the fight, it doesn't just do good for him, but it does good for all of us as a whole. When one of us makes it, we all make it, and that's how we got to look at it. So, Robbie, just want you to know, man, when it hits that date, I'm gonna be tuned in, locked in, ready to go. And I'm gonna be
appreciate it, thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Robbie, do you know what it's going to be streamed on?
I'm not sure yet, man, but soon as I know, man, you guys will all know too.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Hey, Robbie, on that date, I'll be there with you.
Yeah,
And do your homework. If you don't know who he is, just type his name in Google, and he's gonna pop up. And do your homework and research ahead of time. If you don't know who he is, everybody should, so that you know what you're watching and you know who you're watching. Do your homework, guys. Easy to do.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Robbie, thanks for joining us on the Winner Circle. Everyone, stay safe, stay strong.
Robbie!
There you go. That's what you're looking for, Robbie.
That's what you were looking for. That's him right there.
That's what you was looking for.
Who's looking for me?
He thought I was you
Robbie.
when he first hopped on. He thought I was you.
He said, hey, Trav.
Am I not the first one?
Hey, Trav, he even said it.
No, it's all good, bro.
He said,
No, you're not. Everybody does.
He
Everybody.
was like,
Everybody
hey,
has done that.
Trav, hey, what's up, Trav? He was kind of looking like, what the?
I'm gonna pretend to be Travis for a day, see what happens. I'm just gonna say, all right, yeah, I'm Travis. What's up? No, you can't have no money though. You can't have no money. All right, we out.
Say hi to Robbie, man. Y'all enjoy.
Yeah, man, got you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, peace.